Did you know that there's a McDonald's in Japan that serves human meat? Well, not exactly. But this is the story of a Japanese man who ate his girlfriend's heart and liver while she was still alive. And it all started with a simple McDonald's order. I'm your host, and I make oddly satisfying videos about all things creepy, strange, and macabre. Today we are discussing true crime. So if that's not for you, please click away now. This video may contain triggers for some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. In 2016, Japan was rocked by a horrifying murder case that quickly became known as the Tokyo Vampire Murder. A woman had reported her boyfriend to the police for forcing her to drink blood straight from his mouth. She told the cops that they had been together for 3 years, but recently he'd become violent towards her and their child. He would often disappear for weeks at a time, and when he returned home, he would force her to drink his blood as punishment for not taking care of his meals while he was gone. After getting no results from the police, the woman left her boyfriend and moved back in with her parents. But a few months later, she disappeared without a trace, leaving behind her 3-year-old son. The police searched everywhere for her, but her whereabouts were still unknown until her boyfriend confessed to murdering her and told them where he buried her body. Aiko and Tamaki had met when they were young and soon fell deeply in love. They lived in an apartment complex in Tokyo with their 3-year-old son, Riku. According to Tamaki, they had an ordinary life. They took care of their son and worked their jobs. But after he lost his job, things changed. He began going out every night, returning home drunk and sometimes covered in blood. Tamaki insisted that Aiko watch him as he drank his own blood straight from his arm. She said that it wasn't an issue. Until one day when he got angry at her for not taking care of their son or making sure that he ate. He forced her to drink his blood directly from his mouth as punishment, which was really disgusting, considering he had recently cut himself while working in construction and was covered in other people's blood from head to toe. On another occasion, Tamaki disappeared for 10 days. When he came back, he punished her for not taking care of herself or their son by forcing her to lay down while he whipped her with a belt. He then made her drink his blood and spent the night having sex with her, ejaculating into her mouth. Aiko finally had enough. She packed a suitcase and left Tamaki, moving back in with her parents. Tamaki called her constantly, begging her to come back, threatening to kill himself if she didn't. Eventually, she agreed to meet with him one last time so that they could talk. But when she arrived at the predetermined spot, Tamaki jumped out of his car and grabbed her, dragging her to the trunk. She screamed for help, but no one could hear her over the loud buzzing of a nearby train. Tamaki put her in the trunk and drove to an ATM. He withdrew 30,000 yen and bought a shovel. Then he drove to an abandoned part of the city. When Tamaki finally opened the trunk, Aiko noticed that it was filled with plastic sheeting and towels. Once they arrived at their destination, Tamaki tied her hands and feet with a rope and gagged her before burying her alive. He even went as far as putting headphones on her so that she could listen to Mozart as he buried her. Once she was completely under the ground, Tamaki removed the headphones and covered her with more dirt. As the hours passed, Aiko struggled to breathe, pushing against the dirt as she slowly suffocated to death. When Tamaki finally returned to the shallow grave, he untied her hands and removed her gag. But Aiko was already dead by that point. Tamaki dug up her body, laid her on a tarp, and carried her back to his car. He stored her body in the trunk and drove home. Over the next 2 weeks, Tamaki cooked and ate parts of Aiko's body, including her heart and liver. He even made burgers using her meat and fed them to his son. Tamaki had even prepared a will and wrote down everything he'd done so that he could present it to the police once they inevitably caught him. He contacted the police and told them that he had killed his girlfriend. When the officers arrived at his home, they found 25 plastic bags filled with what appeared to be human organs. He also had a notebook in which he detailed how he had chopped up Aiko's body and disposed of her remains. But he told them that those were false confessions, and that he had actually eaten all of Aiko's meat. The police searched everywhere for Aiko, but the only evidence they could find was a small piece of bone from a finger. The case went cold until Tamaki contacted the police again and told them where he had buried Aiko's body. It was then that the officers found her skeleton wearing the clothes that her family had given her when she moved back in with them. She was also wearing the same perfume that she had worn the last time anyone had seen her. Tamaki was arrested and charged with the murder of Aiko and initially pleaded not guilty. He claimed that Aiko had died during sex and that he had simply panicked. But he soon changed his plea to guilty and was sentenced to 25 years in prison. During his trial, Tamaki testified that he had always wanted to eat human flesh and had fantasized about biting into someone's neck and drinking their blood. He said that his urges intensified after he lost his job and turned violent towards Aiko because she wouldn't stop nagging him. Tamaki stated that he had originally planned to just bite into Aiko's neck and drain her of blood. But she fought back, giving him the idea to take her life and eat her corpse instead. Tamaki insists that he treated Aiko well, but all of their neighbors told the police that they had often heard yelling and screaming coming from their apartment. One neighbor even told the police that they had once heard a woman scream, "Don't kill me," right before Tamaki yelled back, "It's too late." While burying his wife, Tamaki called his mother and told her that he had done something terrible. She responded by saying that she was disappointed in him and ended the call. Tamaki then called his sister, who convinced him to turn himself into the police. When asked why he had chosen to confess, Tamaki replied that he was tired and hungry and needed to rest. He told the police that he hadn't properly disposed of Aiko's remains and that they probably weren't going to find any evidence. He led the police to a storage unit where he had kept Aiko's personal belongings, including her cell phone, wallet, and keys. It has been reported that Tamaki sent letters to several women after killing Aiko, asking them if they would like to eat a piece of her heart. Police have reason to believe that Tamaki had been eating people long before Aiko. In fact, a friend of his from high school told the police that Tamaki had once bragged about chopping up a girl and throwing her pieces into different garbage cans. In Japanese law, murder carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. However, Tamaki's sentence was extended to 25 years because he had previously violated a restraining order taken out by Aiko. After the verdict was read, Aiko's mother told reporters that she hated Tamaki and wished that he would die in prison. While in jail, Tamaki has reportedly been treated normally, working in the kitchen and raising pigs for slaughter. He even participated in an art show featuring paintings by inmates, but none of his work was sold. A friend of Aiko's told reporters that she had been worried about her friend's relationship and had often told her to break up with Tamaki, but she never did. So what do you think? Is there anything that I missed? Let me know in the comments. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.